Monday Night Raw Hot Takes, where I talk about what you want me to talk about. We got GOATed. Javon should have won, and him losing to 2026 Rusev was ridiculous. Tired of hearing he has his whole career ahead of him. Creative needs to lock in. And kicking it with Leo says, I feel bad for Javon. He had an amazing performance tonight, and if anyone was going to win, it was going to be Chad Gable, but it just sucks that Javon is sitting on the sidelines while Oba and Trick have matches at SummerSlam. And then I'm paraphrasing here, why didn't we just keep him on NXT? He could be champion right now. That's a valid point, actually. And then Tiz Mickey says, Javon is really so good. I really hope he gets a singles title soon after Gable wins it, because he deserves it. And you know who else deserves a title? You, the viewer out there. And if you comment and subscribe to the channel, maybe you'll get this title on my shoulder. You see, at 30,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a belt, and you can win it. Free shipping anywhere in the world. Like I said, all you got to do to enter is comment and subscribe, and you can win this belt right here. It's not a toy. It's a replica, and you can win it. And Javon, you know what? Comment Javon, subscribe to the channel, and you can win too. If Triple H won't give you a belt, then Wrestle Chop will. Okay, so now let's address those hot takes. First off, I don't mind him losing to Rusev last night, because that was his third match. He went Dirty Dom, then Dragon Lee, and then Rusev. So he had a great showing out. But I will agree that I am tired of hearing the narrative, oh, he has his whole career ahead of him. You know why? Because I heard that narrative for the last 2 years on Bron Breakker. I kept saying they're rooting Bron Breakker. They need to let this guy win. And I got over and over again, he's fine. He's young. You can tell he's a main eventer. He'll be okay. And now look at Bron Breakker. He's literally the fourth most important person in a four-man faction that was originally designed to get him over. His placement, Bron Breakker's placement, is so bad that even Paul Heyman in storyline was just like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done with you guys. See you, bye. I don't buy this narrative of he has his whole career ahead of him. The fact that Javon has a great personality, a great character that connects with the crowd. He is great in the ring. He's decent on the microphone. It's time to start giving this guy actual stories and actual feuds. I don't want to hear about how he's 23 years old, 22 years old, and his whole career's ahead of him. No. If that's the case, then leave him in NXT, like Kicking It With Leo said. Let him just have a dominant run with the NXT title. All right? Don't call him to the main roster if we don't really got nothing to do with him. Great. Let's put him in a tournament so he has a good showing out with Gunther. Let's put him in a tournament so he has a great showing out with Jey Uso. Let's put him in a gauntlet match so he has a great showing out with a bunch of people. But he's more than that. Why is this dude not on SummerSlam? Why is this dude haven't been on any PLEs? Like, for real, what has he done? He hasn't been on any PLEs. If you look at Trick Williams and you look at Oba Femi, you look at how they were booked, they are very different characters. One's a heel, one's a babyface, and yet they got into programs with people almost immediately. They were booked strong, and now look at them. Don't they feel like top players? But Javon Evans is just a dude who gets to have really good matches all the time. Give him something to do. Last night, we could have instantly got him a match at SummerSlam. All they had to do was this. You have him beat Dirty Dom exactly how he did. You have him beat Dragon Lee exactly how he did. The next person that comes in is Ethan Page. All right, Ethan Page, he's gloating, he does this thing, and then roll up 1, 2, 3. The match lasts 5 seconds, and Ethan Page goes ballistic. It was his ego, all ego, Ethan Page, his ego got in the way, and then he just beats Javon Evans down. He beats the snot out of him, right? And then he leaves, and then Rusev comes in. Rusev then beats him up, and he tries really hard, and then Rusev beats him. Okay, so I don't even have a problem with Rusev still beating him. It's just flip it around. And then Rusev can go and lose to Chad Gable, but Javon can be upset with Ethan Page. And then he can confront him next week, and we can have ourselves a program right there. Those guys have a history in NXT too, and they have good chemistry. Straight up, they can go to SummerSlam with that, or at the very least, Saturday night's main event, because all we're doing is we're just always bringing them right to the brink of success, and then saying, oh, don't worry, he has his whole career ahead of him. They said that about Bron Breakker last year, and now look at him. He's taking his marching orders from Maxine Dupri. And no shade on Maxine Dupri. Great for her. I enjoyed her. I am enjoying her storyline. I'm glad the tag team division finally has a story. But for Bron Breakker, it sucks. And for Javon Evans, we're not really doing him any favors by only allowing him to have matches to make other people look good. Like, we need to give the guy a championship. And you're like, oh my God, he's so young. You know, Chad Gable, right? We all agree Chad Gable should be winning the Intercontinental title right now. We all agree on that, right? You know how long Chad Gable has been in WWE? I want to say it's been like 8 years. Chad Gable has been in WWE longer than Kurt Angle was in WWE. By year one, Kurt Angle had won pretty much everything. All right? Pretty much everything. And Chad Gable is now just getting to his first Intercontinental title. Like, that's insane. I don't want to have 31-year-old Javon Evans finally getting to the Intercontinental title. I just don't want it. Yes, I do agree that right now Chad Gable should get the title, but I'm telling you, we gotta do something with Javon. Get the guy at least, at the very bare minimum, on the SummerSlam card in a one-on-one match. All right? His WrestleMania ladder match doesn't count. You know why? Because it's a multi-man match. I want him in a one-on-one match. He's more than just his OG cutter. Don't put him in the same box that we did for Bron Breakker. And no shade on Bron Breakker. I hate what they did to Bron Breakker. I just absolutely hate it. But I don't want to see those mistakes repeated on Javon, because Bron Breakker, all he is right now is a spear. That's it. That's his role on the WWE roster. Hey, Braun, go do a spear. I don't want Javon to just be an OG cutter. And if we're not careful, in 2 years, I'm going to look back and say, I was telling you guys all this. I was telling you gals all this 2 years ago, but nobody believed me because he had his whole career ahead of him. All right, let's do some more. Hot take. Comic Book Bob says WWE has completely dropped the ball on Bron Breakker. He never felt more irrelevant than he does right now. Absolutely agree. I hope that nobody mistook my Bron Breakker tirade just a second ago as me not loving Bron Breakker. I actually think he's great. I've had some people come at me and say, oh, he's just nothing. He's not good on the mic. He was never it. And I'm just like, I actually like his performance on the mic. I like that it's different. I like that he gets really like intense while he's cutting a promo. And the thing about it is, you're right, he's not it. And that's because WWE has dropped the ball on Bron Breakker over and over and over again. I know the word fumble is very much thrown around nowadays, but I think Bron Breakker is like the definition of fumbles. I used to say, we don't want to get Dolph Ziggler. Now I'm going to start saying you don't want to get Bron Breakker, in that you come to the main roster, you have all the potential in the world, you're a young cat with your whole career ahead of you, and then they're just gonna bring you to the brink of the promised land just to pull it away from you. It's like, geez Louise, he has never felt more irrelevant. Let him lose, let him drop the tag titles to Alpha Academy at SummerSlam, let him go away. Maybe have him return when he's 40, because maybe then we can push him, let him have a 13-year vacation, and when he comes back, we can push him to the moon. Comment of Doom says, the Vision instantly feels more interesting. Who could have thought that Maxine was the missing ingredient? This segment felt like I was watching old school wrestling again. We need more of this. As a whole, I did like this segment, and I think it's great for Maxine. I think it's great for Austin Theory. Good for Logan Paul even. Logan Paul can be pretty much anywhere and it'll still be kind of entertaining. And great for Otis and Tozawa. Bron Breakker is the odd man out here. If it was anybody else other than Bron Breakker, I'd be like, this was beautiful. But as a whole, it was great. I don't think Maxine Dupri was the missing ingredient, though. I think booking the Vision strong is actually the missing ingredient, and hopefully they start actually doing that from this point forward. Matt is haunted. Was it me, or was the Vision segment felt a little awkward? Lots of pauses. Yeah, no, it was awkward. The beginning, especially. It took them about like 3 minutes to get into their groove. Like nobody knew who was supposed to speak first or anything like that. And honestly, you can tell that Paul Heyman has both on screen and off screen just wiped his hands of the vision, because there's no way that that segment would have started off so clunky if Paul Heyman was still the creative there. Dashie Negan says, love Chad's push. He deserves it. Yes, Chad Gable has deserved this push for probably about 5 or 6 years right now. I'm glad they're finally doing something with it. Although, I don't know. It feels like, oh, I won a #1 contenders match, so now I'm going to go for the title. I kind of wish there was a storyline involved with it. You know how great that mask versus mask match was? It was phenomenal. One of the best matches I've seen since pretty much Undertaker Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 25. But the thing that made it so peak was not that it was just a great match, was the storyline that went with it. So yeah, Penta and Chad Gable, it's gonna be a good match, but the fact that the storyline is basically, let's shake hands, I've already apologized to you, I guess. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy that Chad Gable's about to win the IC title, but I just feel the story's just so lackluster. It's like, I won an opportunity. Gee golly. Pervious Young says, this show sucks so bad. Fire Triple H immediately. This is why SummerSlam is not selling tickets. This is why Saturday night's main event in Madison Square Garden is not selling tickets. Ooh, the Garden not sold out? Ooh, that actually is an indictment right there. These people are boring. Triple H cannot write a show. Just call The Rock to save this horrible company. I heard Moana tanked at the box office, so we might be seeing The Rock sooner or later. And at this point, I'm like, final boss, all right, let's go. Errol Noir says, I know they've cooled him off considerably, but I still think Bron Breakker should win the heavyweight title before Oba. I would have agreed with you a year ago. I think he needs to be rebuilt. I think we need to drop the Breakker name and just add Steiner. I think he needs to just come back as Steiner so we can just forget this unfortunate year or two of Bron Breakker's booking. Tiz Mickey says, look, I don't blame Maxine. Theory is fire. LOL. All right, so that's a woman's perspective. She doesn't blame Maxine because of the looks of Theory. So from a male perspective, then I don't blame Theory either, because Maxine is pretty fire herself. Nike fan says, fire take. I know we did the Otis Maxine storyline, and it's a repeat of Ziggler, Otis, and Mandy Rose, but I enjoyed this segment. Last night it gave me final boss goosebumps. I know there's many guys out there that can relate to this story. Everyone did great in this segment. Can't wait to see it continue. Yeah, this was definitely the 2020 storyline, and you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay with them repeating storylines if it's been like 5 years. Honestly, I am. It's just crazy that it's the same exact guy. And to be fair, the pandemic actually kind of cut that storyline short. So who knows? Maybe we can actually see how it would have finished. I Love AEW Wrestling says, why didn't Jacob and Jimmy help Roman when Seth was beating him up? Makes no sense. Roman never told them to stay in the back. And then TTJC did offer a solution. They were probably forced to leave after the earlier segment, if not both were in the medical because of LA Knight, Royce, and Solo. So TTJC, that's a plausible answer, but the problem is that if the viewer has to come up with the answer, then I don't accept it. There needs to be an explanation as to why they didn't come out. If they're getting kicked out of the building, then just show us they're getting kicked out of the building. It's OTW says, there isn't a single universe in the multitude of multiverses. Oh my God, I love that. when Brock Lesnar should be walking around with police. Also, about time they gave my boy Theory a mic. You are a big Theory fan, I give you that. But yeah, like, I didn't like the whole Brock coming out with the cop segment, and then it just turned out to be all a lie, and Obafemi was like, yeah, I knew it was a lie. So that was all awkward. We just didn't need it. Brock with bodyguards? No. Brock is the bodyguard. Brock should have been protecting all 5 of those security guards. But I did like the promo after by Obafemi where he's like, this is not the Brock. This is not the Brock I know. You're hiding. You're running. There's nowhere to run at SummerSlam. Fazzer Rip says, what the heck happened to Bron Breakker, man? Yeah, I feel you. He says that Grayson Waller should be in Braun's position. You're right. Like, have Austin Theory reach out to Grayson Waller, says, come on into the division, and then have Bron Breakker just like, yeah, I'm out. The Wrestle Don says, I really dig the solo babyface turn, and I hope it isn't a swerve because he has too much personality to get lost behind the blood as a bloodline henchman again. I also like the direction they're going with LA Knight and Royce Keys as long as they actually make it mean something. I'm not thrilled with LA Knight being in another 6-man tag match, but I am thrilled that we finally made Solo Sikoa a babyface. You're right, the guy has just way too much charisma to just be lost in the bloodline. He's been held back actually as a stoic bodyguard. And to be honest though, neither should Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu should be an unhinged bodyguard. And Solo Sikoa just needs to be on his own, an island unto himself, and just being goofy as all get out. Kid Wilkes says, I think we've done everything we need with Roman Reigns and the bloodline. Just give us one-on-one interviews or something like that. We need to actually have something just happen other than promos and beatdowns. Like, for real. Next time Roman comes out, have him yell for his title, but the boy never comes. And then Roman gets super upset. He goes looking for him, and then he finds him tied up. And Seth Rollins has his title. But Roman has he has the Ulafala on. Roman comes out, going to get his title back from Seth. And he's like, yeah, that's the only way you could ever get the title if you stole it. You stole it from my title boy. And then what happens? Like, Seth Rollins, he throws the title to Roman. Roman goes and catches it, but Seth kicks him in the stomach, pedigrees him. He takes off the Ulafala, and he breaks it. Oh my gosh, that would be so much heat. And don't get me wrong, Roman Smack Talk is peak. He really buried Seth Rollins last night about the money in the bank and stuff, and his work daddy. That stuff was great and gold, but we've seen it over and over. Give us something that advances their hatred towards each other, that makes us go, oh my God, without it just being words or a beatdown. I'm making this all up on the spot, but breaking that Ulafala, that would be insane. Star Gibbons says, there were no lies told between Roman and Seth. No, there weren't. In fact, there were so not any lies told that Seth even's like, yeah, you're right. In fact, I've told myself all those same things. Roman demolished him last night on the microphone. In fact, I kind of felt bad for Seth when it was all said and done. Wrestle Train says, I'm so tired of babyface versus babyface. We need heels. I agree. Or, if you want to do babyface versus babyface, it has to be someone like LA Knight. LA Knight, actually, when he was last year, when he was kind of getting in the face of Jey Uso and Jey was still a babyface, or CM Punk, at least it was still interesting. Just because you guys were aligned on the babyface spectrum didn't mean he was just gonna just shake your hand and be all lovey-dovey with you. No, he still had that competitive fire in him. It seems like though everybody else other than LA Knight has to be all handshakes and hugs. Killer Wolf says Maxine was the best thing to happen to the Vision. I'm looking forward to the storyline, but I don't think she's the best thing that happened. I think the best thing to happen was when Bron Breakker joined originally the night after WrestleMania 41. I think the best thing to happen was when Bronson Reed instantly joined. I think the best thing to happen then was when Bron Breakker speared Seth Rollins and took control of the Vision. There's so many times they had, this is the best thing to happen to the Vision since, and they've fumbled every single time. So, we shall see if Maxine Dupree was the savior of the Vision. Moses Fry says, unfortunate event, Jey Uso's cracked me up. Yeah, LA Knight, he's always gold. LA Knight's always gold. Could you imagine if we had Savage LA Knight versus Savage Roman Reigns? Then I wouldn't mind just promo battles every single week. Carmichael says, that was the most boring segment both Roman and Seth ever had. I'm a fan of both and I'm excited for the match because of who they are, but just relying on the star power is not story. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And the Sheepy One says, I love that Big Cass is returning. If you didn't know who that vignette was for, on 8/3, the Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam, we got some big dude coming back, and that's Big Cass. He's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. I'm hoping the realest guy in the room, he comes with him as well. Sheepy One also says they don't know how they should feel about it. Would they rather have a surprise or a build-up? I'm glad they just didn't show up and sign a contract, shake hands with the GM, and say, all right, we're on your show now. So, you know, a move in the right direction. All right, boys. All right, girls. Those are your hot takes. See you. Bye.